I'm Alex Michelson. This week, the issue is criminal referral. Congressman Adam Schiff on why he thinks Donald Trump should be prosecuted and the likelihood he'll run for the Senate. Then the issue is California's College Corps, a first-in-the-nation program. A look at why it literally pays to volunteer at so many California campuses. And the issue is 2022, our biggest moments from the year, as the issue is starts right now.
Broadcasting across California, you're watching The Issue Is.
And welcome to The Issue Is, and happy holidays. I'm Alex Michelson. This week, the January 6th committee wrapped up 18 months of work with an unprecedented recommendation to the Justice Department. A former president should be prosecuted. The charges they recommended that Donald Trump face is obstructing Congress from certifying the Electoral College, conspiracy to send fake electoral votes, lying to investigators, and stoking an insurrection. Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff is a member of the January 6th committee. Congressman Schiff, welcome back to The Issue Is.
Great to be with you.
Congressman, the people who actually entered the building haven't been charged with inciting an insurrection. Why should Donald Trump?
Well, they've been cited with other things like assault on police officers, like seditious conspiracy. And we examined the statutes that we thought most clearly applied to the president's conduct and others. Those are the charges that we referred. We looked at the elements of each. We think the evidence matches each of those elements. And we wanted the Justice Department to be aware that we felt there was a basis for potential charges on at least those 4 crimes.
You know, Mike Pence, who was vice president on January 6th and the target of that mob, says that Donald Trump shouldn't be prosecuted. Here's some of that.
I think that would be terribly divisive in the country at a time when the American people want to see us heal.
So how do you respond to that argument? That it would be too divisive, that it would sort of rip the country apart to prosecute a former president?
Well, first of all, Mike Pence wants to run for president, and he doesn't want to alienate the supporters of Donald Trump. So this is his way, I suppose, of trying to have it both ways. It would be too dangerous not to if the department believes that there is proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed crimes. We cannot have a situation in this country where a president is above the law, or anyone else for that matter.
On to another story now. This week, you were on hand as Ukrainian President Zelensky spoke to Congress in Washington. You were one of the few members to actually meet with him in Ukraine. What do you make of his overall message and the state of that conflict right now?
Well, I think he's really the Churchillian leader of our time. He's done a dramatic job, a phenomenal job of leading his people in a war against one of the most powerful militaries in the world and defeating it on the battlefield in many parts of the country. And I think it was very important for him to come before Congress. The Ukrainian people are showing great courage and steadfastness. Members of Congress need to show at least the same steadfastness. We can't be letting up on our support for Ukraine and allowing Russia to remake the map of Europe by force. If we do, other nations will decide they too can use force. China can use force in the Taiwan Strait against Taiwan, and other nations will also be led to believe that might makes right.
So you are the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, so which means you know more about TikTok than almost anybody else in Congress. There's a question now whether TikTok should be banned from government phones, worries about Chinese basically spying on Americans using TikTok. Do you think that TikTok should be banned from phones?
I don't think members of the government ought to use it on their phones. I don't use it on my phone. I wouldn't recommend others. So I would like to see the federal government not use TikTok. I have to think that there's a better way to deal with the risks posed by TikTok than banning it altogether in the United States. But we're going to have to find a way both to make sure that Americans' private data isn't stolen, and we have to be on guard for the Chinese government's ability through the algorithms of TikTok to propagandize Americans. But I wouldn't begin with saying that the solution is banning it in the entire country.
What would you tell your own kids, though? Would you say to them, don't have TikTok on your phone?
I don't know that it's realistic for parents to tell their kids not to have TikTok on their phone. But I would tell them that you need to be very careful that your private data, if you use TikTok on your phone, may not be secure. You should also be very mindful of the fact that what you see on TikTok is what TikTok wants you to see. and therefore you're being led potentially in a certain direction ideologically or in certain issues, and there are other things you're not going to find on TikTok because of the influence of the Chinese government. So beware.
Let's talk about your role in the next Congress. Right now, you are the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, one of the most important committees in all of Congress. Kevin McCarthy, who is likely to be the next House Speaker, says he wants to ban you from all committees in the next Congress. If that happens, what would your role be in the House, and what do you make of that decision?
Well, first of all, let's see whether Kevin McCarthy can get the votes to be Speaker. And the two are really intertwined in the sense that the reason why McCarthy's talking about taking me off the Intelligence Committee is really twofold. One, he doesn't want me to be able to do effective oversight. And number two, he wants to please Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is part of her price for her support in the Speaker's race.
I mean, the Republicans would say that Democrats kicked Marjorie Taylor Greene off of her committees, so why shouldn't they be able to kick you off of your committees?
Well, this is the same false equivalence they often use, which is Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar were removed from their committees because they were inciting violence against fellow members of Congress. The day I start to incite violence against people that I serve with or elsewhere, then fine, take me off my committee. The moment I start engaging in insurrection, then fine, sanction me. But don't give me this false equivalence, Mr. McCarthy, and suggest that somehow leading legitimate investigations of Donald Trump's corruption with Russia, Ukraine, and January 6th is somehow a legitimate basis to remove someone from a committee.
Let's talk a moment about your future, potentially beyond the House. It's widely expected that California Senator Dianne Feinstein, who is 89, will retire at the end of her term. You have expressed interest in that job. Is there any reason why you wouldn't run for the Senate?
Well, I usually ask the question in that form. Look, I am getting a lot of encouragement to run for the Senate from people in California and colleagues here in Congress. If Senator Feinstein retires, then I will give it very serious consideration. At this point, I think we're waiting to see what Senator Feinstein has to say about her plans. But yes, it is something I'm giving serious consideration to.
So is it fair to say you're pretty close to the idea of running?
I don't think I want to go beyond what I've said, but I appreciate your asking.
All right. Well, when you do want to make news, you know where you got to come. So let's talk for a moment, though, about your district still that you represent. And unfortunately, one of the most famous constituents of yours, P22, passed away. This is that mountain lion which would roam around in Hollywood and Griffith Park, became internationally famous.
I represent Hollywood, but P22 was my most famous constituent and probably among my most beloved constituents. We all have, really bonded with this magnificent creature. I know P22 was certainly an inspiration to me in legislation I've been carrying now for 20 years to more than double the size of the Santa Monica Mountains Recreation Area. It's what we love about LA. You can live in a city and be surrounded by lands that include lions and bears and other magnificent wildlife.
And while we're at it, tigers, and let's just do the full Wizard of Oz thing. Okay. Yeah, thank you. All right, so we like to have some fun here, and we're in the holidays now, so we're going to play Personal Issues, which is your favorite game, where we tell your favorites 30 seconds, rapid fire. This is holiday edition, so these are your holiday favorites. We got 30 seconds up on the clock. Let's start with, what is your favorite holiday movie?
Oh, probably It's a Wonderful Life, but Home Alone has got to be up there as well.
Favorite holiday food?
Oh, I would say potato latkes.
There we go. Favorite holiday drink?
Oh, well, all year round it would be a White Russian because of the Big Lebowski.
I was going to say, it's your work on the Intelligence Committee. Favorite holiday song?
Bruce Springsteen's Santa Claus Coming to Town, which might be an unusual one for a nice Jewish boy like me, but nonetheless, it's a great song.
It is a great song. And us Jews, we don't get a lot of holiday songs. even though most of the Christmas songs are, of course, written by Jews, so Jews make money for the holiday songs. They just don't get our song. But there is one song that has become very famous that we get to celebrate Hanukkah with. So, Congressman, thank you for joining us on the issue is. Happy New Year and Happy Hanukkah from me and Adam Sandler.
So drink your gin and tonica, but don't smoke marijuana. If you really, really wanna have a happy, 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 happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
That is so much better than the dreidel, dreidel, dreidel song.
Yeah, indeed.
Peace Corps gives us a chance to show a side of our country which is too often submerged. Our desire to live in peace, our desire to be of help.
In the 1960s, then President John F. Kennedy launched the Peace Corps to promote volunteerism around the world. Recently, California Governor Gavin Newsom launched a modern twist here, focused on college students. For freshman Cal L, it pays to volunteer in several senses at Rio Hondo College.
I think we need to bring more light to the people that need help.
Cal is part of the first ever class of California's College Corps, the state giving students $10,000 to pay for college if they volunteer 450 hours while in school. Cal now volunteering at the food pantry after previously experiencing homelessness and hunger himself.
I feel like I can get onto their level and understand where they're coming from, because not everybody can. They can sympathize with it, but they can't understand what they're going through, how hungry their stomachs might be feeling.
What's going on, College Corps?
The program is the idea of California Governor Gavin Newsom and his Chief Service Officer Josh Friday, both inspired by then-President John F. Kennedy and his brother-in-law Sergeant Shriver forming the Peace Corps in the 1960s.
You are all living testaments to inspiration.
Friday told me no other state has ever tried this.
From the White House on down, people are trying to figure out what to do with this student debt crisis, and Governor Newsom feels very strongly that we need to figure out a way to have students earn it. It's pretty simple. It's like the GI Bill. If you're willing to serve, we're willing to help you pay for school.
Humility.
I will serve with humility.
This fall, the governor swearing in 3,200 students participating statewide.
This has been amazing for me.
The program is available to so-called AB 540 students like Octavio Lima, who were brought here illegally as kids and despite their school success were never eligible for most scholarships. With this $10,000, he can finally afford to be a full-time college student for the first time ever at age 23.
Thanks to College Corps, I could focus on being a full-time student and pursuing the degree I want.
The program is currently available at 7 UC campuses, 16 CSUs, 19 community colleges, and 4 private schools. Rio Hondo's superintendent, Dr. Marilyn Flores, says it's already made a big impact here.
Part of the community college system that I've always enjoyed the most is the word community.
Students can work on environmental issues, help low-income folks find services, or tutor inside local K-12 schools.
Every state should have a College Corps. We're building the model here in California, and we're excited to see it scale across the country.
Up next here on The Issue Is, a look back at our biggest moments from 2022. Next week on The Issue Is, an encore presentation of our recent half-hour sit-down with former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. That means that this is our final new episode of 2022. In that spirit, I thought it'd be fun to look back at what we said during the last new episode of 2021.
Forget politics. Our politics is going to be awful in 2022.
Yes, it will.
It will be awful. But that shouldn't define our lives. Our lives are so much bigger than the networks and the punditry.
Governor Newsom is right on both fronts. Our politics is going to be pretty awful in 2022. It's going to be quite a year. The governor himself is running for re-election. The whole House is up for grabs, and we could end up with the Speaker of the House from Bakersfield. Plus, the LA mayor and LA County sheriff races will likely be watched around the country. And we will be here every week to do our best to put things in perspective and have a little fun along the way, too. All that ended up happening, and Governor Newsom was right. Our politics was awful at times. But we did have some fun along the way, and somehow we kept our jobs. Here's a look at some of our favorite moments from this year on The Issue Is. Coming up, an Issue Is exclusive. Governor Newsom comes to the White House. How you feeling?
Flying yesterday?
We did. Governor Gavin Newsom enters the White House amidst a flurry of national stories speculating whether he wants to run for the White House.
I've tried to say no way, in every way I possibly can.
Where the hell's my party?
Where the hell is the National Democratic Party in terms of action on that?
What is going on in the Democratic Party nationwide? I cannot answer that question.
I'm Alex Michelson. This week, the issue is overturning Roe v. Wade. What is your message to the young woman in another state who is really scared right now?
Yeah, come to California.
Conservatives' beliefs are apparently so goddamn fragile that the mere existence of people who are different from them is somehow a threat to you.
I don't think any of those platitudes mean much of anything. We just don't want babies to be killed in the womb.
You think that 10-year-old should have been forced to take that pregnancy to term?
I do. These are flags of the different countries that are represented here at the Summit of the Americas,
which is about investing in these countries that are our neighbors as the United States.
The event also putting a global spotlight on California Governor Gavin Newsom. He hosts heads of state like Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Aesthetically, you look like you could be brothers or at least cousins.
I'm the younger brother, right?
Yeah, he's the. He reminded me he's the younger brother. Second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, appeared at this event. We were on hand as he supported the Sova Food Pantry in Van Nuys.
It's so good to be home, and I mean home. I went to see Sun right around the corner, Agora High, and then USC.
I don't know if you know this, but I went to Agora High, and I also went to USC, and I'm also a fellow Jew from Brentwood. So I mean, we should be hanging all the time. There we go. Doug Emhoff speaks to an artificial intelligence version of a real-life man, Pinchas Gutter, who survived 6 German concentration camps during World War II.
It's not just a Jewish issue. It's an issue for all of us. Hate rears its ugly head all over the world.
Since we last talked, you went to Auschwitz. And visited that for the first time.
I went there as a son of a Nazi officer. Now this guy is a Jew, I am the son of a Nazi officer, and now we are celebrating there together.
Pete Buttigieg got his first ever in-person look at the ports of LA and Long Beach and took us along for the boat ride. What do you say to people that say they're angry that the prices are so high?
Well, yeah, a lot of the pressure on prices is coming from these shipping delays.
Rub it in there. There we go.
U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm plugs in to charge an all-electric big rig. Do you think what California is doing could or should be a national model?
Could be.
Schiff says now he wants to write even more.
I've always enjoyed writing. Years ago, I wrote a number of screenplays. I'm a lawyer in LA, that's what we do.
Oh, sorry. Just the mayor.
It was Mayor Eric Garcetti's idea to take us for a ride. But it doesn't take long for us to drive past homeless people living in tents.
I won't take blame for homelessness. That is way beyond Eric Garcetti, and I'm very proud of the work that I've done as a council member and as mayor.
So if you don't deserve blame as the mayor, who does deserve blame for this problem?
I do as an Angelino, doing the same way that we all do.
The filing deadline has passed and the field is now set in the open race to lead the largest city in California. Rick Caruso, welcome to the mayor's race.
Thank you.
Why do you want to do this?
I am coming back because of the crisis that our city is facing.
You need to have a chief executive with that kind of skill set at the top.
I do have experience governing. He has experience running a corporation.
Hi, Snoop. I'm Alex from Fox 11. Nice to see you.
What's up, Alex? How you doing?
Are you officially endorsing Rick Caruso, and if so, why?
Mayor's got to be about, you can't be about talking about it, you got to be about it.
Welcome to the Los Angeles mayoral debate. Congresswoman, do you feel safe walking in
I do feel safe. I would say a 10.
A break-in at the home of LA's mayoral frontrunner.
I did feel safe until my safety was shattered, like so many Angelinos.
This is Jesus.
Rick Caruso is introducing his kids to a family whose education he helped sponsor.
The biggest problem is that Tina and I are both crybabies, so.
It's emotional for you to see those kids? The Caruso family, remarkably close. What's Rick Caruso, the dad, like?
He's so fun.
The love between Bass and her family is also clear. Who is Karen Bass, the mom?
She's my mentor. She's my confidant. I'm getting a little emotional.
What does it mean for you to have the vice president here with you of all days on election day?
I told her it means the world to me to be here.
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Karen Bass.
Yes.
First time I've gotten to say that. I'm Alex Michelson, and this week the issue is the Super Bowl. You say the Rams can't let somebody come into their house and take the Super Bowl.
You can't do it. You just can't do it. It's like letting a man come in your house, sit at your table, eat your damn food while he's holding your wife's hand and drinking your wine.
Matt is an online sensation known for his more than 250 impressions. Gavin Newsom, Governor.
Yes, well, I believe that it was so great. Let me just show some chest.
The iconic actress Jennifer Coolidge is with us.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Wow, that was a moment.
Look at that.
Finally.
Oh, God.
This is the 2022. Lead, follow.
Lead, follow,
or get
out
the hell out of the way.
You can listen to all of those interviews in their entirety in podcast form right now. Just search for The Issue Is wherever you stream. We'll wrap things up for the year when we come back.
You can get it streaming if you want to subscribe to Alex's page. He can make a little extra cash out of it. Really, do it.
That's all for this week. I couldn't be more grateful to you and our team for making this show possible. I'm Alex Michelson. Thanks for watching The Issue Is. See you next year.